Because the poor or the slaves are not supposed to have an identity. You're not supposed to have you're not supposed to have a rich history or a culture. You're supposed to be content with staying lost. We were born to raise again the tribes of Israel. That was our purpose. Christ came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. There's more. Read.
Which was then a dead man.
Go ahead.
And delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
So not only did they give you a false image, ceremonies and sacrifices came with this image. Like the Christmas that you're following now. Like the Easter you're following. All these ceremonies came from these guys. From these religions. Ceremonies connected to Satan himself. Read on.
Thus, in process of time,
what happens?
An ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law.
Go ahead.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
Then they had you worshiping graven images, like Mary, graven images of Cesar Borgia, worshiping crosses. Some images look like the Night of the Living Dead, blood coming out of the bloody heart. What's this? All this came from the Roman Catholic Church. It's straight Satanism. Okay? Now let's make it clear. We're just identifying the chosen people and pointing out the evil. That's not wrong. Okay? We're not saying that there's not a place for the Gentiles. Okay? Get Romans the 2nd chapter real quick. We're not saying there's not a place for the Gentiles. But the way the gospel is being taught in this earth is unbalanced. First of all, they're not telling people, Romans the 2nd chapter in the 10th verse. First of all, they're not telling people who the true Jews are. So how can the temple be built if the children of Israel don't know that they are the temple? Romans the 2nd chapter. Read the 10th verse.
Romans 2:10. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good.
So if you worketh good, glory, honor, and peace to you. If you worketh good. So if you are a Gentile or another nation that's willing to stand for the truth, then you okay with us. We have no problem with that. But don't ask us why we identify ourselves as Jews, because we are the Jews. Ask the Jewish people over in the land today why they calling themselves Jews. We can go into the Bible and show you our foreparents' prophecies of how we would go on the cargo slave ships. That's Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. We can go into the Bible and show you our women being taken from us and being raped in slavery. That's Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. We can show you us discontinuing our heritage and us losing our identity. That's Jeremiah the 17th chapter. Now someone please tell me, why don't you go ask the Jewish people to show you how they're Jews in the Bible? Do that. Instead of questioning everything we bring forth, when everything we bring forth come directly out of the Bible. Not once did you ask those Jewish people, show us what tribe you're from. How is it that you're in the land when Christ says that the Gentiles would overtake the land and Israel would be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth in captivity? So how can you be the Jews when the Bible says the Jews are in exile? Read that part again.
But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good.
Every man that worketh good. Read.
To the Jew first.
To the who first?
To the Jew first.
But first we must identify the Jews. Nothing wrong with that. That's the gospel. To the Jews first, and then who?
And also to the Gentile.
And then the Gentile. So how is it that we can just have a gospel grabbing all people and dealing with the Gentiles and not acknowledging God's people? That's against the gospel. That's against the gospel. And this is the backwards part of how the gospel is being taught today. Even in church, they acknowledge the Jewish people as the chosen people. And these people over in Israel don't even follow Christ. But the church will still acknowledge them as the Jews. How backwards is that? We are the Jews. They took our records. They tried to inscribe their names in certain parts of Hebrew to inject themselves into the word. But one thing you can't deny. There's no place in history where Esau was living in this land right outside of Africa. Nowhere in history. Okay? First of all, in order to live in this dark region, you have to be one with the sun. Okay? Believe me. The sun rises in the east. So you know that these people must have been very dark-skinned in this region. Okay? There's more. There's more. Let's go to Acts the 10th chapter. Acts, matter of fact, it's Acts 13. Acts 13. You can follow us here. And read the first verse.
Acts 13:1. Now, there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
They were called what?
Niger.
They were called Niger. N-I-G-E-R. They were called Niger. Niger is black. The disciples were called black. Okay? That's where they got the word nigger from. Okay? When those Southerns was over, when they came over here, they couldn't say Niger because they had that Southern slang, so they said nigger. But it's Niger. All right? Why are we pointing out these things? Not to, not to uplift ourselves beyond measure. Not to say that, we're this and we're that, but we just here to tell the truth. The Bible says the true Jews are black. There's a reason we have to identify this. If our people understand that we are the people of law and have understanding, and that mathematics and all the great things that we can attribute to greatness comes from us, there will be less adultery. There will be less families being separated. If you knew you had a law, you wouldn't kill your people because you know you have a law. You wouldn't be murdering your people. But if you don't know who you are, it's nothing for you to kill your brother because you don't know who he is. There's nothing for you to kill yourself. You don't have no self-worth. You have no culture, no identity. Yes, we do good to the Gentiles, but it's important that we give the true understanding to the children of Israel. Because these are the people that Christ will set up in the earth again to rule. And these are the people that accounted for the number of 144,000. We must identify them. So don't call us racist because we're telling the truth. Call these religious institutions racist because they deny you the truth. It took a racist to put up this guy as Jesus Christ. Okay? We're not